There were many, many things to talk about and think about this season. It was incredibly creative and incredibly powerful, and I think so many questions were being raised, some answered, some not, but certainly a lot of food for thought. Starting off with Alexandra Michele bringing Gucci to Paris, and we saw not only extraordinary clothes, but also Jane Birkin just popped up and sang a fantastic song. The more creative designers were really trying to reinvent what a fashion show could be. Mary Grazia brought in these amazing modern dancers, very reminiscent of Martha Graham, that interacted with the models as they ran through the arena. But the fact that we're seeing so many designers try and push the envelope, in the end, that's what you want to take away. Of course, beautiful clothes, but also ideas. The Chanel show today, that was such a joyous show, and just watching all those beautiful girls walk down the beach with their shoes in their hand, wearing those fantastic prints and easy clothes, but still very recognizably Chanel. It just felt so happy. Wintour, it feels very light, very colorful, very joyful, prints mixed with utilitarian pieces, but again, very Nicola in its spirit. Sexuality and gender fluidity and not being concerned about male, female as something that's always been of interest to John, but never more so, I think, than this really triumphant Margiela show, which really explored the idea of sexual identity in a very free way. It was extraordinary to see, and talking to some of the department stores in the week, we were talking to them very strongly about the idea that maybe menswear and women's wear doesn't have to be separated anymore, and what we're seeing on the runway should be reflected in the stores themselves, that everything is for everybody, and that we need to embrace not only all cultures and all races, but also all sexual identities. Moving on to Sarah Burton at McQueen, and I love the embroidery and the handwork. It's all about craft and the hidden details with Sarah, and of course hanging over all of this was the Kavanaugh hearings in the United States. So to be sitting in Saint Laurent's fashion show, I think brought a big emphasis on what do women want, how do they want to dress, how do they want to express themselves. And then I do also applaud Claire coming into her own at Givenchy. Obviously been an incredibly important year for her with the Duchess of Sussex wedding and everybody's eyes on her, but I feel that was a collection that had a lot more confidence and a lot more authority. I don't think fashion can ever be about one thing, and there was a lot of discussion and surprise that Hedi Slimane went in such a different direction at Celine. That is who he is. I mean, that was a collection that was genuine to his belief and his sensibility, and there were incredible coats, incredible jackets, beautiful tailoring, great accessories, and the same for Olivier Balmain. He believes in it, he goes for it. What's so fantastic about fashion is this eclectic mix and these strong voices, and you pick what appeals to you. And I saw a dress I'd never seen before. I think that his sense of freedom and liberation was really shown in that collection, because there was bright color and very easy shape with Pier Paolo. It was a much easier collection. It was less contrived. The shapes were magnificent. The colors were incredible. It got a standing ovation at the end of the show, and he really has moved Valentino without losing sight of what Valentino is and who he dresses. And then you have designers like a Hedi Slimane or Riccardo Tisci now at Burberry, who just come in and they just want to put their own stamp on it. And yes, they understand the past, but that's not what they're going to do. So we saw both. And everything was wonderful.